previously on Animorphs. I went to a gymnastics class when I was younger. I don't think you can blame that on slugs. Please give it to me. Who can morph into terrifying alien beasts? Blah, blah, blah. We get it. Because Rachel is great. Book 3, The Encounter. We've reached August of 1996. Original Animorphs fans had to wait 2 months to get their next hit, but we're here, and it's time for Book 3. Tobias Time. The cover. I mean, for all hardcore fans, which we all are, aren't we? I mean, you've watched all the way to video 3. Or is that just my stellar personality and charisma? I think we're all excited to see our Hawkeye boy on a cover. It bodes well. Also, Hawkeye who? It's all about this mid-morph child. I want to know whether this early on they were having photo shoots for the children on these covers, or whether these are stock photos of children who inadvertently made history. Alright, we'll get to the book. It's a standard opening, my name's Tobias, I can't tell you my last name, blah blah blah, except, oh, I'm a hawk. Tobias starts this book right in the action, as we always knew he would, freeing a lady hawk from a cage. Rachel turns up as an elephant to save the day, because she's great. Are people not concerned about these elephant sightings? Is life sufficiently interesting that local elephant sightings are not making the news? One person has noticed, it's Dylan Dan, who owns the car dealership that Tobias is swooping down on in order to save his lady hawk friend. Oh my lord, Dylan Dan gasped. Forget the bird, there's an elephant stomping over the convertibles. So then we get more description of Tobias happily flying around, which makes me very happy. But there's something weird in the sky. Could it be plot? The Animorphs get back together and Marco is less than impressed by their stunt. The romance inklings are brewing betwixt Cassie and Jake. They touched hands. I mean, whew. We learn how Tobias has got away with his whole disappearing act. Basically, he's told everyone who should be caring about him that he is at somebody else's house. So he encounters the weird sky thing again, and this time some geese splat into it. It's an invisible Yeek ship. The Animorphs meet up to talk. Cassie shrugged. I halfway feel like we've done enough, you know? We attacked the Yeek pool, we barely got out alive. We infiltrated Chapman's house and Rachel was captured. Again, we barely got out alive. I guess the question is, how many risks are we going to take? How many more times are we going to barely escape? My guess is a minimum of 52, the number of books left in this series. Rachel is understandably annoyed at Marco's whiny attitude and basically tells him if he doesn't like it, he can go away. But Tobias smooths things over by saying, you know, I'm going to go look for the Yeek ship in the mountains. Nobody has to come with me. So Rachel, Cassie and Jake all agree that they'll go with Tobias, and Marco says, okay, fine, I'll go. But under the stipulation that they don't leave until the weekend, because at some point the Yeeks who are running the school are going to make the connection between the 5 truant teens and the 5 Andalite bandits they're trying to catch. Gosh, it's hard to play truant when your assistant principal's a slug-minded villain. They decide they can't fly there in case bird watchers are also Yeeks. Does that mean the Yeeks are bird watchers? Like, have the Yeeks taken over ordinary humans and decided to take them bird watching because the Yeeks like bird watching? Or do they have to fake that they're still the humans who like bird watching, but nobody else is there, so why? What do the Yeeks want? What is their goal? So the Animorphs decide to become wolves, and luck just so happens there is an injured wolf in Cassie's barn. Oh, there's some 90s gender politics where Marco's like, I can't be a girl wolf, I'm a boy. Then we get a moment of Tobias not being happy in hawk form because he is envious of his friends who get to be wolves. I freaking love these books. Jake has to keep peeing because he's the alpha. Because stupid. Then they have a quick break for a howl, because it's not like they need to be saving the world or anything. But Tobias flies out to have a look around, and there's a tent, and there's soldiers, and there's Hawk Bajir, who are kind of the Yeek shock troop. Tobias tries to go and warn the group, but he finds a different wolf pack who are actual wolves. These books could be slapstick, I swear. The group move in, but the invisible spaceships come down, and it is invisible no more, and it sucks water out of the lake, because basically this is a ship that comes down in order to get oxygen and water for the bigger spaceship in the atmosphere so that they can keep surviving, which makes complete sense. The lady hawk they rescued at the beginning comes in, and Tobias has a moment where his hawk brain starts to take over and he's like, maybe I should just go live as a hawk with this fine lady. I mean, we've all been there. By now, the fake wolves and the real wolves have met, and both the alphas need to battle. One of them's Jake. I don't trust his competence in a wolf battle. Tobias saves the day, because that's what he does. And then he saves the day again, because his raptor vision, he spotted a clock, and he reminds them, the 2-hour morph is a lumen. We learn how horrible it is to morph back when you're really close to the 2-hour deadline. It's a really painful process, but they manage it. They're safe for another 6 pages before this happens again. But now Tobias feels trapped in his body, and we hear it from him and not his friends, and I just want to hug his hawky body. Tobias has a lot of feelings, and he decides to go and see Rachel. Animorph's inspiration moment. Because what counts is what's in your head and in your heart, she said with a sudden passion. A person isn't his body. A person isn't what's on the outside. Tobias waits around for everyone to finish school, checks on everyone, and then they meet up again. It's time for another Animorph's ingenious scheme. If they manage to make the ship visible above a public space, everyone will see it, and everyone will have to believe them about the controllers, the Yeeks, the Andalites, all of the above. Why couldn't they just do what they did in book 1 and morph in front of people? Did I mention they're planning on getting inside the ship using the suction pipes as fish? They decide to wait until the weekend so that they can go up there as wolves, wait it out, and then morph into fish. Tobias goes for an angsty fly, and at first he's loving it, but then he goes into full hawk mind and he swoops down and eats a rat. It's kind of like that bit in book 1 where Jake eats a fly and gets really freaked out as a lizard, but obviously Tobias is stuck and it's so much more horrible. So he panics and he has to go to the mall to find Rachel. American viewers, are there gymnastics displays in malls? Because there are in this book, and I don't think that's a thing. Tobias gets stuck in the mall, and it's basically a mad panic for the next 6 pages, and you can definitely interpret one bit of it as Tobias wanting to die, which is really freaky. But Marco saves his life because he throws a baseball at a window that Tobias can then fly through, and it's all okay. After this, Tobias goes full hermit hawk. Hawkmid. Hermhawk. So the hawk's taken over, and he now refers to human Tobias, showing him his memories. The parallels with the Yeeks taking over the mind are super interesting here. Just like think on that for a time. He flies off to meet the lady hawk that he rescued earlier, because somehow she has more page time than like Cassie in this book. Tobias finds a hawk-bajir attacking a boy, rescues him, and he's back. This is all within the space of 1 chapter. Say what you like, but the pace of these books has kept me interested for 3 books, and I've got 51 to go. He goes to see Rachel, and he says, I'm really sorry, I've been feeling super trapped. I feel terrible for ruining your gymnastics routine. Priorities. The plan's back on, he's forgiven, and Hawkie and the Wolves, that's a band name, Hawkie and the Wolves go to enact the fish-based plan. And now a fishing interlude, because they have to catch a fish and absorb its DNA before they can do any of the plans. So we have to endure the mind-numbing boredom of fishing. But the military are coming, and Tobias wasn't paying attention because Lady Hawk was there, and she's a big distraction. Will they be able to morph in time? Of course! Visser 3's turned up. Cassie, Queen of Morphing, changes first because the plans changed. So now instead of turning into fish, getting in the water, swimming up the pipe, they're going to turn to fish on land, and Tobias is going to drop them in the water where the pipe's going in. I'm just going to say it. Why couldn't they be frogs? So they get sucked up into the ship. Is this drinking water? What are the Utes doing with this water? Why would they want fish in it? Of course there's going to be a filter at the top if it's drinking water. And if it's not drinking water, what are they doing with it, and why is it okay for there to be fish in it? The hawk-bajir finally realises that there's a random hawk that keeps showing up, and that's pretty suspicious. So Tobias is now battling the hawk-bajir from the outside, and the other guys telepathy in to say, there's a grate at the top of this, we can't swim through it, we're stuck. Because of course there's a grate! Why wouldn't there be a grate? Tobias manages to steal the Draken beam from one of the hawk-bajir, and he shoots into the control panel at the front of the ship. I'm sure it's fine that he managed to pull the trigger. We won't think about that too hard. So the water tank splits. The gang fall out in human form because they've morphed back in the tank so that they can avoid this whole 2-hour morph thing. And in human form, they fall out and morph into their bird forms. Everyone lives except the Lady Hawk, who is mown down by a Draken beam, and I shouldn't be this upset about the fridging of a hawk. But I am. But Tobias has learned through this whole book that he's a bit of a mix of boy and hawk, and that that's okay, and that he's free. And that's pretty cool. And that's the end of the book. It's the shortest one so far, presumably because Tobias never has to think about high school. What morphs do we get? Let's check the notes. We get hawk, elephant, wolf, trout, peregrine falcon, osprey, and bald eagle. And that's the end of book 3. It's a really fast one, as I say, but I think it's very, 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 very good. I haven't even looked at book 4 yet. I will put the cover up on screen and you can react to it in your own way. And imagine, I'll do several reactions so we can appreciate it. That'll do. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can like it if you liked it. You can subscribe. You can follow me on all of my socials. And I shall see you in the next one. You can't flush a toilet while I'm in the middle of a take.
Even the Animorphs have to go to the toilet sometimes.
I'm cutting all of
What
this.
happens if they need to go to the toilet while they're an animal
They
form?
poop like animals poop.
I feel this is going to come up at some point.
Go away, I'm filming.